Hi, and welcome to English on the Go, the show where we take English out of the classroom and into the real world to teach you the English you need to survive. Today, we're going to run some errands. Eso es, recados. Are you ready? I am. Let's go. This street rings a bell. Of course, it's Ayuda en Acción. I have friends in Ayuda en Acción. Let's call them. Hey, Julian. Hey, Julian.
Alberto,
how are you, man?
How you doing?
Great, long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a long time. How you been doing?
I'm okay. I've been extremely busy, but I can't complain. It's been a very productive year. How about you? I mean, how are things here at Ayuda en Acción?
Well, you know, pretty much the same. We are helping out people every day, doing some projects. Some of them are very interesting. Well, if you got a minute, I'll show you around.
Excellent. Yeah?
So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey, wait a second, Julian. I recognize that line. That's my line.
I know, but I'm getting used to this television thing. Alberto, well, I know you know because you are already a member, but
right.
For the people who doesn't know, I would like...
People who don't know, right? The people who don't know.
Yeah, thank you. The people who don't know, I would like to explain you a little bit more what we are doing.
Okay.
Well, Ayuda en Acción, as you know, is an NGO, which means it's a non-governmental organization.
Right, absolutely.
Right? We are not affiliated to any particular party, political party.
Right.
We are not
religious.
Of course, we are not. And we are independent.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So our main objective is to help boys and girls, their families,
right.
and their communities in poor areas in the world.
Right. I mean, that's what you guys are doing. I mean, and I remember last time, how many countries are you working in?
21.
21 countries they're working. This
21
is
countries in Latin America, Africa, and Asia.
All over the globe.
Exactly, yeah. At the moment, it's 4 million people we are helping out.
You're helping 4 million people.
That's right.
Just
in 21
incredible.
Countries.
That makes you feel good. Doesn't it make you feel good?
It does. It's a very beautiful job.
Yeah, it's true.
Indeed.
It's true.
And what we do is stay with the community, working with them for a period of 10 to 15 years.
Okay.
So we give them the tools they need to achieve their own wealth.
Right, and to develop infrastructure,
exactly.
Farming, agriculture. You don't just go there and say, okay, here's money. You say, okay, we're going to help you build schools. We're going to help you build a community.
Exactly. And what we do is very different projects
right.
in those areas. Actually, I don't know if you met Patricia last time.
Patricia? Doesn't ring a bell. I don't think I met Patricia.
Well, I'm going to introduce you to her. She's a very nice person.
Great. Excellent. Sure.
You're sure going to like him.
Okay.
So, let's go.
Yeah, sure.
A mí me gusta jugar. Escribir, leer, pintar. Escribir, leer, pintar. A mí me gusta estudiar. A mí jugar, aprender.
All right, well, Patricia, I've got a question because I'm hungry right now.
Yes, me too.
But we're both hungry,
yeah.
right? It's about that time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what is the difference between being hungry and going hungry? I mean, how would you differentiate that?
Well, United Nations talk about hunger when the daily intake of calories of a person is less than 2,000 calories.
Okay, so if you ingest less than 2,000 calories a day, you are going hungry,
yes.
according to the definition.
And
right.
you are facing the risk of malnutrition. Today, there are 1,000 million people in the world that go hungry to bed.
They go to bed hungry.
Yeah.
1,000 million, which in English is?
It's 1 billion.
1 billion, right.
Yeah.
We have a different system. So 1 billion people, or 1 English or American billion people every day who are going to bed hungry.
And I fear that the figure is increasing each day.
Every day, absolutely.
Yeah. For example, every 5 seconds, a child dies because a causes
Because of
related to hunger.
Yeah, hunger related. So a child dies every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So during our conversation, children
A
are
lot of
dying
children are dying because of hunger.
every 5 seconds.
And there are another figures, dramatic figures.
Other figures,
yeah.
right.
For example, 70% of people that are hungry in the world are women.
Really?
And there is a big contradiction because they grow the 70% of the
70%.
70% of
Right.
the food, but they own only 1% of the land.
Really?
So there is a big difference between
it's
the
off
work
balance.
they done and the land they
Right,
own.
right. So
yeah.
they're working on other people's
Yeah,
land. And
yeah.
so basically they're working all day with the food and then they don't get to eat it.
Yeah.
It's off balance. No está equilibrado. It's off balance. I had no idea. It's 70%.
70%, yeah. It's
That's
a dramatic
crazy.
situation for a lot of people.
And what are some, I mean, everyone knows that hunger is a big problem, but what are some of the root causes of hunger?
Well, there are different causes. The main important is that there is an unequal distribution of food.
There's an unequal distribution. Okay.
Yeah, and to the access of the means to produce that food.
Okay.
That's the main.
So some
the main
people have
cause.
more food than they know what to do with.
Yeah.
And other people don't have enough for basic, basic things like milk,
Yes.
eggs.
During the last years, developing countries are decreasing their intake of calories.
Really?
But in the North countries, we are facing obesity. And
Obesity, sure.
Yeah, so
you're
it's
seeing it more
a
in
different-
Europe now than ever.
yeah.
So it's off balance again. It's a matter of things
It's
being
an
completely
unequal-
off balance
Unequal distribution of the resources.
of the
is
resources
main
that we
causes.
have. Patricia, tell me about this rice that we have here. We have 2 bags of rice. Tell me about this.
We have here a clear example of how food crises are affecting people in developing countries.
Okay.
For example, in Ecuador,
Ecuador.
in 2007, this was the daily amount of rice that a person could have.
Could have. So
Yeah.
this was in 2007.
In 2007.
Okay, not bad. It's a portion
It's
of rice.
okay.
It's,
Yeah.
I can eat a
We
lot
have
more,
to take
obviously.
into into account that this rice is the basis of the
Their
diet.
Sure. Okay.
In these
All right. So this was
countries.
2007.
Yeah, and this is after the food crisis and the increase of prices of
Right.
food.
The food prices
yes, the
going
food
up.
prices. Yeah.
Right.
This is the daily amount in 2009.
Look at this.
Yeah.
This
So-
is serious. This is a big
Only
difference.
2 hours, 2 years.
2 years,
Actually.
and I mean, come on, this is nothing. This is an appetizer.
Yeah,
Not
it's-
even an appetizer. Incredible. So what are some things that Ayuda en Acción is doing to prevent this, to help slow this process and to help people?
We work in 2 different lines.
Okay.
Here in Spain, we run campaigns to raising awareness about this issue, to mobilize people, and to lobby Spanish and European Union governments.
Yeah, well, it has to start with the governments changing their minds, and sure.
Yeah, and part of the problem are the policies that governments
Have in place now.
Yeah, have in place, and to make sure that they fulfill the commitments that they signed in different
Right, that they promised.
international summits and statements,
Sure.
and they are not, in many cases, they are not
Following through,
Yeah.
como decimos, cumpliendo. Cumplir is to follow through. So they aren't.
They are
so
not
you
follow
have to make sure that that everyone is doing
Yeah.
their part, from the government to individuals. Right, absolutely.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's our work here in Spain.
Right, and the campaigns, you
Yes,
have different
different
campaigns. I know
campaigns.
you have a campaign. I see the poster over there. Who's that? Who is that? That guy's very famous, isn't he?
Yes, he's José Coronado. He's an actor.
He's an actor,
and,
okay.
Yes, and he traveled recently to Ecuador
Okay.
to see our work there, and he could see the reality of
firsthand,
this. Yeah.
de primera mano. Sure, sure. So lobbying the different governments, different campaigns to raise public
awareness. Yeah.
Right.
El entusiasmo de mi hijo Nicolás me llevó a un lugar donde los más pobres, con el apoyo de Ayuda en Acción, luchan contra la peor crisis, la alimentaria.
La alimentación es un derecho de todos, pero cada día 1.000 millones de personas no pueden comer.
Hemos sido testigos de todo lo que se puede hacer al apadrinar.
Colaboras en el desarrollo de toda la comunidad.
A mí me convenció mi hijo y ya colaboro con Ayuda en Acción. Hazlo. apadrina. Hoy tu esfuerzo es más necesario que nunca.
Wow, Fernando, these pictures are fascinating, incredible.
Well, I think they are, because Africa is a beautiful continent. You remember when we were talking the last time, we were talking about our development project.
Yeah, I mean, you're always traveling. You're in different countries all the time. And
yeah.
You've been helping people in Kenya for over 20 years.
Yeah, right now we are, with the support of our supporters, we are funding 5 different locations in Kenya.
5 different locations,
yeah,
okay.
If we are using Ayuda and Acción terminology, we would say that we are supporting 5 DAs, the development areas.
So, Fernando, what exactly is a development area or a DA?
The average lifespan on a Ayuda DA is around 10 years.
Okay.
And our main thematic interventions are food security, women's rights, education, good governance, and emergencies.
Okay. So,
Okay.
so when you go there, these are some of the objectives that you go for in these DAs, these development areas.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
But I think it's a really unique thing what we are doing, because it's the communities who are identifying and prioritizing their own needs.
Who's going to know more about their problems or issues than the people of that community?
These priorities are formulated into projects, and then here we collect funds so these projects can become a reality.
A reality, sure. So where in Kenya were you?
Well, first of all, here is Kenya, and
Okay.
we're going to talk about Sericho. Sericho, I think it's a really special part of Kenya because it's in the northeast part
The northeast, okay.
of the country, close to the Somali border.
Okay.
It is located within a really arid zone, so most part of the year remain hot and dry.
Right, arid is hot and dry, right, absolutely.
Yeah. They are Muslim, and they belong to the Borana ethnic group.
Okay,
And they have really special features because they are a semi-nomad and pastoralist community.
okay.
There is a river within Sericho, but its potential for irrigation is quite limited.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
so they can't really use the water from the river.
It's not really, it's a seasonal nature of the river.
Okay.
So, and the rainfall that Sericho receives is quite erratic and poorly distributed.
They can't depend on that.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
So if we go back to 2009, and according to the Kenyan government and the World Food Program, which is a UN-dependent agency, around 10 million of Kenyan people were food insecure.
Can you believe that? 10 million people. I mean, that's an astounding figure.
And Sericho was one of the worst affected areas in the country.
So you decided this was a DA, a development area.
Yeah, I mean, we
It
had
was
to be
just
there.
screaming for help.
Yeah, it was a humanitarian crisis because since 2007, the rainfall in Sericho has been scarce and erratic.
Right, scarce, escaso,
Yeah.
right? Scarce. Sure.
So we have to take into account that these people were extremely poor before of the drought period.
Before the drought,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So this situation had a really negative impact on their living conditions.
On an already negative living condition. So,
Yep.
right,
As I said before, thousands of people were at the truly risk of starvation.
of starvation,
Yeah.
sure. Because, yeah, being hungry, but starvation. I remember when I was younger, my grandmother, I would always say, "Grandma, I'm starving." And she would say, "You're not starving." So there are many people who are starving. You're not starving.
Yeah,
So
there
it's
was
a
a-
very serious word.
Yeah, this is really, really bad situation. So it's a bad situation, so we had to intervene quickly.
Right.
Okay, because
It's an
immediate.
emergency. It's not
It
like you
was.
can't wait 6 weeks or, right.
It has to be immediate.
In that case, it was an immediate response.
How we responded to this emergency. Okay, we carried out some immediate activities.
Okay.
We had to be there within 24 hours. I mean, there was no time to
Get a plane
plan.
ticket and you're on the next plane,
Yeah,
really.
you have to be there. Second, what we did was we targeted especially vulnerable groups and individuals.
Okay.
And we,
What are some examples of the vulnerable groups,
Okay.
for example?
pregnant women,
Sure.
lactating women,
Okay.
children, especially children under 5.
Yeah, well, of course, some people are less fortunate than others. And for example, as you said, pregnant women, disabled people, children who can't take care of themselves. You know, they need assistance first.
So for those communities, for those groups, what we did was we implemented a supplementary and therapeutic feeding program.
Therapeutic feeding, okay.
Therapeutic.
Because they had, well, these are people, as we would say in English, people with special needs. That's when you need those services more than ever. The services of a hospital, doctors, nurses, you know, in a time of crisis.
And then we also supported the construction of rehabilitations of water harvesting facilities,
Okay.
like sand dams,
Okay, so you made dams. Dam is, how do you say dam in Spanish?
Presa.
Presa. A dam is un presa, right?
So
Dam.
it was easier to store water in increased quantities. We also constructed water supply systems like boreholes.
Oh, really?
A borehole is a narrow shaft drilled in the ground.
A shallow well. Right? A well is pozo, right?
Yeah. Then we could not forget about sanitation facilities like pit latrines. And also we carried out an awareness-raising campaign on the importance of sanitation, especially in the settlement areas.
I mean, basically, these people are screaming for help. So someone has to help them.
It's really hard to imagine.
Right. I mean, you've been there firsthand, de primera mano, but someone like me who's never been to a country that's hunger-stricken or... Well, it's very difficult for me to imagine.
We identified especially poor families, and we assisted them by a cattle restocking program.
So how did this work? What did you do with the cattle? You provided cattle for this community.
I mean, there was no grazing areas. And there was no water available, so a lot of animals were dying. So we decided to restock.
Well, sure, if the animals aren't getting the nutrients, they're malnutrition, well, that's going to reflect on the people, because in the end, it's all part of the food chain.
So this was an emergency, but now we are working with development.
Right.
Okay, so it's a
first
longer
is to
term.
put out the fire.
Yeah.
Si pensamos en bomberos, you put out the fire first, and then you work on preventing future fires.
That's right.
Hemos estado allí, hemos convivido con ellos y hemos sido testigos de todo lo que se puede hacer al apadrinar. Miles de familias ya tienen acceso a la alimentación y a sus derechos básicos, gracias a su trabajo y al apoyo de Ayuda en Acción.
Okay, well, I'm here with Emmy. Now, Emmy works in the press department. How are you today, Emmy?
Hi, I'm fine. You?
Great, thanks. Well, I figured I wanted to talk to someone in the press department just to get an idea of the current situation. What is the current situation now?
Okay, you cannot even have an idea how serious the situation is now. Because at the moment we are receiving lots of news related to food crisis in lots of countries.
Right.
Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, Guatemala, all these countries.
Well, in every continent, basically.
In every continent. Asia, Asia, Africa, and America are suffering the same situation. Countries are facing the lack of food. Children are dying, and we have now the huge figure.
How many children would you say are dying on a daily basis due to starvation?
Okay, the figure is sadly amazing. We are talking about 16,000 children dying every day.
Wait a second, 16,000 children, that's incredible.
It's incredible.
It's astronomical.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God, what a shame.
But the things are like that because we are facing the worst food crisis in the world since years and years and years ago. And now, right now, 1 billion people are going hungry every day.
1 billion people are going hungry every day. So as we speak, people are dying, people are going hungry.
Yes.
Incredible. Now, of course, these are horrible figures, but what can we do to help? I mean, here in Madrid and in other places, what can we do to help?
Okay, the reality is that people is fighting against...
People is or people
are? People are, sorry. People are fighting every single day against poverty, against injustice. And we, our organization, now is fighting against these kind of things. We are fighting with our work in the field, with our policy, with our work in general, and people individually in their homes can help to change these things with the sponsors.
And how does this work? I mean, I know, but just in case there are people who don't know, how do you sponsor a child? Well, what is the process? How much does it cost? Give us the details.
Okay, the cost is 21 euros per month.
That's nothing.
It's nothing, and we understand that it's a real effort to some people to give us 21 euros per month during a year or during years, I don't know. But the reality is that with these 21 euros, you can provide milk for 50 children in Ecuador or feed 34 orphans by AIDS in Malawi, maybe. Or another example, we can provide seeds for...
Seeds, semillas, right?
Seeds.
Semillas.
Yeah. We can provide seeds for maybe 34 families in Ethiopia. So
In Ethiopia, with 21 euros.
yes.
Right, so this money, as we said, this is something that Julian told me last time, that the money doesn't go directly to the child, but it goes to the child's community. So you're not only helping one child, but you're helping out a community.
Yes, that's the question. When some donor, with some sponsor, give our organization 21 euros, this money is not just for one child, it's for all the community. So you are sponsoring all the community.
Wow, and then this is to help build schools, infrastructure, all kinds of different things, or whatever the needs of that community may be.
It's the whole develop. We are working the whole develop of the community.
Development, right? El verbo is to develop, and development is el sustantivo.
That's the point. We are helping in so many ways. So education, health, agriculture, lots of things.
Well, I guess as you said before too, depending on each community has different needs.
Yes, absolutely.
So you identify the needs of that community based on what the residents of that community say.
Yeah.
They'll tell you what they need and what they're lacking, right? So it's 21 euros a month. It's nothing. It's really nothing.
It's nothing, and you can see how it is helping the community.
Absolutely.
Because you receive the reports, and it's very important in a moment like this. In a moment like in this moment that we are living now.
Right, a difficult moment in general for a lot of countries, economies, right?
Yes, it's a worldwide difficult moment, but the people who is suffering people are suffering more than anybody is the people from the south, and we absolutely have to help them.
As we say in English, we have to do our part.
Yes.
Hay que hacer lo que nos toca a cada uno, and that's our part, right?
Yes.
And so if someone wanted to sponsor a child, what do they have to do? Do they go to the website? Do they call the phone number? I mean, how do we do it?
Okay, they can give us a phone call. They can check our website.
Right, which is ayudaenaccion.org, right? ayudaenaccion.org.
Yes.
Right? And there they can find out all the information on how to sponsor a child and really sponsor a community.
Yes.
Right, it's fantastic. Astounding figures, and it's great to know that someone is trying to reduce these figures.
And I tell you that it works. Excellent. When you go to the field and you can see the smile of the people, how they are growing up with less,
just a minimum,
yes, with just a minimum quantity of money, they can do a lot of things.
Right, and it's about empowering them too, like giving them the materials they need and the resources they need to make a better future.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know you're very busy, but I appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk with us. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
How was your visit?
Great tour. What a great group of people. What a team. Really,
yeah. So you met Patri and Amy.
And of course,
Fernando.
I saw Fernando again. And I was just looking at some chocolate. I want to pick up a few things from fair trade. And if I recall correctly, fair trade is, what it does is eliminates the middleman, right? So the money from this goes to the person who grew this.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm going to pick up, I remember last time you have some good chocolate, some good coffee as well. And that rum was exquisite.
Well, I hope you did the order already.
Yeah, I ordered everything. Don't worry. Yeah,
that's great. So let me just remember you about a sponsorship.
Remind you.
Let me just remind you about a sponsorship.
Right.
Well, as you know pretty well, through a sponsorship, we help the whole community, not just a child.
It's true. I remember that, I had this false impression that the money goes directly to the child, but it doesn't. You're not sponsoring one child, you're sponsoring that child's community.
Exactly,
to improve infrastructure, schools, and things like that.
That's correct.
Right?
Yeah. With 21 euros a month.
21 euros. I mean, that's nothing. 21 euros is,
everyone can afford
having a beer with some friends.
Everyone can afford it. Well, we can help out more than 4 million people
And what do we have to do? We have to, if someone wants to sponsor a child, what do they have to do? They have to go to the website, or?
Well, you can sponsor a child through the internet. You can go to our website, www.ayudaenaccion.org.
Okay, ayudaenaccion.org. Okay, sure.
Yeah, that's right. And you can also give us a call.
What's the phone number?
It's 902
Okay.
402 404.
All right, that's an important number. Write it down. Apúntalo.
Easy to remember.
Great. Well, Julian, it's been a pleasure. Great to see you.
That's
man.
great.
Okay.
That's great.
Take
Let's
care.
go.
Yep.
Bye.
Well, that's our show for today. Yeah, I'm afraid we're out of time. But hey, I hope you had a good time and you learned something too here on English on the Go. And remember, do your part.